Oh, your phone. Okay, okay. Um, he's here.
All right,
Oh,
you
he
want to
said
swap
that
out?
like 30 minutes ago and I didn't see because I gave up. I thought you ditched me, Lola, man.
All right,
Okay.
you all good? I will hop off here then.
Okay, thank you.
All right, see ya.
See ya. No, no, no. J. John was just helping me with a card evaluation so that like my homework wasn't in vain. That's all. I thought I had them on. Maybe I didn't. Well, I'm calling you now, Lola. Or whenever you're ready, you let me know. Yeah, Lola, you were not interrupting. I just thought like maybe you went climbing and then you forgot because after climbing you got very tired. Why, coach? Why have you forsaken me? Okay, here we are.
Hey, I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You're here now. You're here.
Well, I wish I messaged you on Twitch. I thought like I was late, and then I thought I was gonna interrupt. Like that would be bullshit. So I was here, I think, 45 minutes ago or something.
Oh shit. Okay.
So
It's my bad for not checking Discord. I like
no, it's my bad. It's my bad because I said I was like I said that I was gonna be late because you said you were gonna be a little bit late, and I'm like, okay, let's. I thought I was gonna be late for like 30 minutes, and yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know. I have no excuses. I didn't realize what the time was. I just didn't realize. I just climbed and climbed and climbed and I'm sorry.
It's
It was my
okay.
best session ever, which makes it even worse because I was feeling good while being late. Uh, I just thought, I don't know. I have no excuses. I should, I don't know. I should, when I go climbing, I think I should be careful about the time because once I actually stayed for like 4 hours when I thought it was like 1 hour and something there. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I don't know. I have nothing smart to say.
Oh, it's okay. I used to climb too, so I get it can be like, you know. Yeah, you don't climb the straight 4 hours, J John. You usually like climb something and then you take like a good 10-15 minute break and then you go again.
Yeah, it's you do take rests, but you're just trying like to not call me an idiot, and thank you for that.
Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, don't worry about it. I wouldn't call you that. I would just get really sad.
Oh, what? Oh, wait. So you said, what were you guys doing? I mean, I was listening for like last, I don't know how long. You were doing like the tier list together, or what was it exactly?
Oh, we were going over the tier list that you had me do so that
Yes.
I could get started on something because I wasn't sure if you were gonna come. So then Jay John offered to like go over this with me so that my homework and my work wasn't in vain, you know?
Ah, okay. Well, thanks for that. I'm just gonna copy paste my grades into your tier list. Give me just 1 second.
Also, I
So how was it, by the way? How did you check first thing? Like, did you check the full set like before you started grading?
no.
No, that is just no.
No, I didn't. I didn't look at the whole set. I did not. I didn't know that was what I was supposed to do because I've never graded something before.
Okay. Well, so wait, I gave you the tips.
Uh,
You didn't read the tips.
yeah. Wait. Oh, the email. I did not read the email. I only read like.
I didn't send you anything in the email.
Oh wait. Yes, I did do the colorless and uncommons like you said first. And then
Oh, 1 second, 1 second.
I read the legend like you said. Start reading them again since you now have a better understanding of the set. Start grading them. Okay.
Okay, so did you make a copy for? Did you make a copy and get yourself a tier list? Oh no, you didn't read the tips. You you put in the letters.
Oh, no. Okay, so the reason I put in, okay, I don't know how to use this Excel sheet. Every time I clicked on anything else, it would like go blank.
Break. Yeah, and that is why in the tips that I gave you, I think I mentioned it 2 times. Remember to put grades in backend caps lock sheet under first column of your choosing, so I have room for my grades in the other column.
Wait, what?
That's what it's not so long. I can share you my screen so everybody can see.
Yeah, I think I'd rather look at that. I don't think maybe I just read past it because like, where did you say that?
In look, I'm gonna share you my screen.
Okay.
Can you see?
Yes, let me show chat. Oh
I'm
man.
not gonna scroll up. So no private information will be shared.
Okay. Windows capture.
This
Yeah, go ahead.
remember to put the grades in backend. So this is how you usually do it. We can work with this. It's I think we can work with this. The reason is like when you put the grades here in the backend, then nothing gets messed up. Like because there are a lot of formulas here and everything, blah blah blah. And this stonks part is the changelog part, right? When somebody
I don't know what a backend is.
Yeah. I really hope you broke the changelog part, because when you put the tiers, it's made like this. Like Hen and Ianos did the backend, they're beautiful. And whenever when we get our initial grades in, and then when we put the grades like we play the set for a week. Like some grades are going to change. We play the set for a month. Some other grades are going to change. And then the stonks is like is the change fluctuating upwards or downwards? So it's like here you only have like arrows pointing up or down in color. So let's hope. All right, let's hope.
Oh man.
let's hope.
No, we didn't do
that-
anything. I fucked it all up.
Let's hope that you broke the change log. You broke the change log. It's good. Okay. You broke that part of the tier list. That is great because then your grades are not overwritten. Now the easy thing would be if you put if we are ever going to do this again, if you put it somewhere else, who cares where it is? But just in the backend for like Scotty or JustLolaMan, you could have changed this, whatever. Then our grades would be aligned, right? So it would be much easier for me to see like the average of our grades and where they are different.
Oh my
It's just
god.
easier to notice the patterns. It's just easier to notice the patterns.
Yes.
But
And I'm very wrong. I'm just looking at the colors.
oh, okay, wait. Wait. Is this this is correct, right? It didn't mess up your grades, right?
No, it didn't. Also, I just saw the sentence, remember to put the grades in back end sheet. I didn't see
Yeah.
this because it was so close to the scry
Ah,
ball
it was so close to the
thing
tripod.
that I just didn't see it. Okay.
All right, next time I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna remove all embeds so it's gonna be easier.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing, like, so you didn't check the full commons and uncommons. You didn't read them before starting the tier list.
The commons and uncommons?
Yeah, just all at once. Did you do that? Did you read them?
No.
Okay. Well, now you're gonna get a hammer. It's
Oh shit.
I'm just kidding. It's so the reason why I told you to do that is because it is so important to kind of get a feel, right? Nobody's gonna know exactly how the set is gonna play out. There's nobody in the world, not one person. Of course, somebody's gonna guess. That's fine, but they're gonna be wrong on the next set. But to get like the feel of the commons and uncommons, like especially the commons, like what's going on here? It's people make a little bit of a mistake. They read the uncommon signpost uncommons, right? The multicolored uncommons, and then it's like, oh, Celestia is doing that. But Wizards is wrong a lot of times. Like they kind of want this color pair to do that, but it does, like, I don't know, at least like 30-40%. That is not what the color pair is actually doing. So like to paint a little bit of a picture, right, to get a feel of it, and then when you get into grading, you skip the rares and mythics. You just skip them for this part. Completely skip them, so they don't mess up. So they are not in your mind at all. Because that's another trap. Like people remember, oh, but this common would work very well with that card. But that card is a mythic rare, which you're gonna get once every 50 drafts or
Yeah.
100 drafts, whatever. So it doesn't really matter that it works well with that card. And then when you start grading, it's just like you have a feel like, oh, white kind of felt aggressive. So maybe these cards are actually better than they would be in black. And then you have the let's say black was slow. These are like kind of easy examples of what you could be thinking about. It's I don't know what's gonna be in anybody's head, but like, oh, black feels kind of slow, and then you see like good black aggressive card, but well, nothing else supports aggression in black. Well, this card is pretty bad. If it would be another color, it would be great. And another thing is, a card can be amazing in one set, and it can be pretty bad in another set, like exactly the same card. So it doesn't really transfer. Like this card was great back then. This card, like, has a lot of cards in this set would be really bad in maybe LCI.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you some questions not gonna give you the answers right away. So that's just like for the future. It's no problem. Everybody does what they feel comfortable doing, right? The most important part is kind of enjoying yourself, right? Some people like to research, some people don't. Some people like to get just head in, but it does make it a lot easier. And this is something that you should always. It's not a long time like to read every common and kind of look through them a little bit up and down. That's not a lot of time compared to how long you're going to be drafting the set, right? Next 2.5-3 months, you're going to be drafting the set. and it gives you such a nice head start for when the set starts, when the set actually starts. Like really rares and mythics, you don't even have to remember them much because I mean you're gonna get one, well maybe two, probably not three in this set, so you can just read it when it comes up. So that's not a problem. Okay, I'm not scolding you. I'm just saying like for future like how this is very very helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just
Like,
I don't feel like like you're scolding me. I just feel like I have such a lack of understanding on how to approach grading.
oh, well, that's okay. I mean, I've been doing tier lists for like I don't know 5 years, maybe more. I always say 5 years about everything, but it's more, it's longer, and then I feel old. So let's say 5 years for everything. Uh, that's why I sent you like some of these things, how to a good way to use the scryfall, right, and things like that. But it doesn't matter. You did how you did. How did you have an okay time grading these things?
Yes, I had an okay time. It was hard though.
It's hard. It's work. It's work.
Yeah, it's work. It's also because like a lot of the things I didn't quite understand, a lot of it seemed very situational, and I tried to like not consider the entire set. So, yeah, I just had a hard time like, do I consider all of these mechanics that I know are going to happen or and then grade it based on that, or do I not? And like if it wasn't for the mechanic, is the card still good?
Oh, so let me try to see if I understood. So, but is this maybe like you get a mechanic, but you're not sure if it's well supported in the set, and you're
Yeah.
not sure? Yeah, yeah. That's what like going through having the scryfall open and having this, having the. I sent you this, right? This is like very basic,
Mm-hmm.
where you have like exactly white, so you don't get the multicolored, blah blah blah, and rarity common. And then it's a very nice thing. Like if you want to get a little bit into it, to maybe learn a little bit more of the syntax. And here's the syntax. It looks very like whoa, but there's just like few things that you need here. It's if you're ever gonna be doing this, preparing a little bit for the set. Like for me, that's a very very fun process trying to figure out a set before anybody played it. Like for example, like oh, this set feels like this. There are like these two cards that care about artifacts. I don't know. And then okay, let's see. Uh, are there any artifacts that are going to be good? And you just write T for type, artifact. C, okay, common. You always care mostly about commons. Okay, let's see what artifacts are there. And then just for good measure, you want to write. These are basically almost the only commands that you're going to be using, almost the only syntax. Type for type, obviously like artifact, recurring creature, and then O for oracle, which is the text in the text box. So maybe something like, okay, you'll see, oh, there's like these artifacts, I don't like them that much, most of them, but then you write O artifact, and all of a sudden, like a lot of things are making artifacts. Here, that it's not like a lot of things are making artifacts. This is just like an example that would be useful in LCI, for example. And then artifacts are actually very well supported because a lot of things make artifacts. It's just like T and O. And like toying with this as much as you want. When I was a little bit less experienced with the tier lists, what I like to do is get out the notepad or whatever you feel comfortable with, and just write things down. Like, okay, seems like Azorius cares about, well, let's say artifacts. Okay, the detectives here. It cares about detectives. And then I write down, okay, how many good cards that are detectives does blue have, and how many does white have?
Oh,
And yeah,
I see. That makes
and
more sense.
the big thing here is good cards. Not how many detectives there are, not how many things make detectives. It's how many cards you think are actually going to be good in the deck. Because it doesn't matter if there is like a ton of cards that are detectives, but they're all garbage. They're all, I don't know, not heavily understated and overcosted. Like, oh, there's a lot of detectives. I don't want to play any of them, so, well, it's not supported. So these are like the things that can help you a lot, especially when you're inexperienced in making the tier lists. And I mean, what is making a tier list? It's basically trying to get ready for the set before you can play it. That's all it is. But it's kind of like a little bit more organized than that. Okay, enough about that. You tell me, like, what do you think about? Is it okay if we start like a little bit of talking about the set in general to see what you think?
Yeah. I just didn't. Okay, it's just like you have a very methodical way of approaching it. You were like, let's see how many detectives there are, and then let's see how many good detectives there are. And for me, I was like, I see that there are detectives, but I don't know how good that is. And I see that there's a lot of synergies for it, but I don't actually know how good that is either. So that's why I was just like, I just threw my hands up in the air and I was like, I don't know.
And and that's kind of what I suspected. So these are like all the nice things to talk about and see. Uh, because on the first session I noticed, I sent you that uh, that the most word that you could use is card evaluation. So it was so lucky that we had a set coming up, uh,
Yes.
the new set coming up right away. This is one of the rare opportunities where we can have like real evaluation before you have 70 land stats, before you have I don't know, a lot of people playing with a set and getting the data everywhere and so on. And it is through draft coaching and through gameplay coaching, it is harder to work on individual card evaluation. It is much easier to just not go into draft and gameplay, because there's like so many intricacies in gameplay and draft which are, if they're all tied, oh, this card should not be in the deck, this card is really bad, this card is then there's like underlying problem that we can work on with something like the tier list, or just grading the cards and talking about the cards.
Okay.
So yeah, very lucky that we had this set, because it's more exciting to work on the new one. Okay, so do
Oh,
you
wait.
have?
This doesn't
Yeah,
actually match now that I'm looking at it.
it doesn't match. It doesn't match in the end, right?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I'm happy that it doesn't. I'm actually very happy, because this there will have some
Yeah.
ID minuses. That's a bit too much. Okay, so
I
I'm gonna
can
try one
I
thing.
could copy and paste it on the back end instead right now.
Uh, Let me see. Let's see if I can. Whoop. Let's see if I can do one thing. 1 second.
I don't know how to use Excel. This is just crazy to me. What the fuck?
I'm gonna try. Okay, this is white. All right.
You can do this with Excel, guys? Oh my god.
Let me see. Absolving Lamasu. Okay, the last thing is wrench. All right, let's hope this works. Actually, you're gonna be Scotty. Okay, this question mark was
Yes.
you're just not sure about it.
Yeah, because I didn't understand how it worked.
Okay. I think I think it can stay. I hope it doesn't mess up the list. We're gonna see. All right, well, I'm gonna do that individually then. Uh-huh. You can do this, yeah. It's just like it's a little bit of toying around. You create a filter and just go change it around. I mean, this is not something you usually need to do, but it seems like it's gonna work. Right? These are your grades. Agency Outfitter is an F.
What was that?
Agency Outfitter. Was this an F for you?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Good. Just as a test. Was Furtive Courier an A for you? If these two are okay, then
Yes.
everything is okay. Yes? Perfect. Then it's gonna work. Then this is just gonna take like, I don't know, let's hope it's like 30 seconds. I have never done this.
Oh.
So I'm just, how do I deselect all? Clear? Ah, good. All right. Seems like it's gonna work. Oh, nice. Glad for that. I thought if this wouldn't work, I don't know. We would have to think about. Yeah, we would just look at your grades and compare them to my grades. It would be a little bit harder. But we're on to red. Okay. You can, if you want, while I do this, you can talk to me about the set in general. If you have anything to say, if you wanna discuss anything, if you have any opinions on the set in general, no need to force it if you have nothing first.
It seems like you'll be a pretty slow set.
Mm-hmm.
I think I couldn't figure out the detective archetype, but I think there seems to be a lot of support for the collecting evidence because of all the surveil and other like sacked equipment so you can draw a card. But I can't tell how good it is to actually do that.
But you can't figure out how good the collect evidence is?
Yeah, because it's essentially like a kicker, but with exiling things from your graveyard. And I don't know how often, even if you get to surveil and sacrifice a bunch of things to put into the graveyard, I don't know how often you'll be able to pay the collect evidence cost. You know, because a lot of them are pretty high actually. It's like 4 to 6 to 8.
Oops, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. A lot of the cars that do, there are a good amount of cars with collect evidence that are kind of fine without collecting evidence, and I think that's gonna be huge. Like, did you? Let me see. Like, how deep did you get? Did you get all the commons and uncommons?
Yeah.
You got all the commons and uncommons?
Yeah.
Okay, so you noticed some collect evidence, creatures getting out of the graveyard payoffs.
Yes.
Which ones?
Payoffs. I don't remember them. I just remember seeing them. Like whenever you like also exile a creature out of the graveyard, then this does something. I don't think there was anything whenever a creature leaves the graveyard, though. I don't think I remember seeing that.
Oh, if I'm correct, everything leaves the graveyard.
Oh, leaves the graveyard. Okay.
Let me see. I think that they're all uncommon. Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a new set. Do I have to do this? No. Boom. Oh, let's do this then. Why I'm not getting leaves the graveyard? This is weird. Rarity uncommon, Oracle leaves. That is so weird. Alright, so I know we have the chalk. Whenever one of our creatures cards leave your graveyard.
That's I remember that one, yeah.
Oh, it's leave your graveyard, because it's multiples. And there is one more, like this weird thing.
Yeah.
Is also, I think, leave your graveyard. So yeah, you can do whatever you want with them. You can move them around. those are gonna be pretty interesting with the collect evidence cards. But other than that, it's most like if you must collect evidence for the card to be good, it better be really, really good, because there are some times when you're gonna be waiting a lot. That's basically in every set you have things like that. Like some condition needs to be met, but it's not that you get there on turn 2, 3, 4 a lot of times. You can, but it's not there, and then it's like, okay, what if I don't meet the condition? How good is the card? Oh, it's fine, it's playable, and then if it does, it's pretty damn good. Those usually always perform well, just in general.
Oh, okay.
Not just with collect evidence. And yeah.
Yeah.
And when you have a card that must fulfill that condition, which is kind of not that easy, or maybe, well, like with collect evidence, you could collect evidence before, and then all of a sudden you don't have any more enough cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Then it's like it better be pretty damn powerful. It better be, if it has to fulfill that condition, if it's gonna sit in your hand and wait for you to do some stuff to get to be able to cast it for its effect, it better be really damn good. That's always with the conditional cards. Like, for example, a good example is, I think, did you play a good amount of Wilds of Eldraine?
Yeah.
And in Wilds of Eldraine, do you remember the Twisted Fealty?
Twisted Fealty. I remember the name. I don't remember what it did.
You know the hijack effect?
The what?
So you steal the creature from the opponent.
Oh yeah, and then you can yes, I remember it now. It was like a 3-drop red card.
Mm-hmm. And you steal a creature, right? Untap it. In this case, that's like hijack. That's what most people call it, I think. So it's like you steal the creature, it untaps, and you until the end of the turn, right? On the end of the turn, opponent gets it back. That's the normal effect. But this one also had put the, what's the name, Wicked Roll, like put a +1/+1 on one of your creatures,
yes.
And when it dies, it deals 1 damage to the face.
Yes.
Now, for example, there is a condition for that card to be good. Like, it's not just you're gonna steal a creature for 1 turn. Like, that's not a great effect. Like, you need to have a condition fulfilled.
Yes.
Now, what do you think is the condition for that card? What there might be multiple. Like, what do you think for cards like Twisted Fealty? What would be a condition that needs to be met for that card to be good?
For that card to be good, you want to steal a card worth stealing. So that means perhaps something that's worth more than 3, something that has an effect that is valuable, or if you can sack the creature that you steal, or you can sack the Wicked enchantment on it for something else as well. I was able to use it, I think, to steal my own creature before, so that it untaps because it was tapped due to an enchantment, and then I attacked for lethal with it.
That's your own creature, right? When it was tapped.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like a very, that almost never happens, but it can happen.
Yes.
It's so nice when you catch it. When it's like, oh, I can tap my own creature. Yeah, that is a really good feeling. So one of the things that you mentioned was sacrifice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the easy one and the most straightforward one. That is like, if you can steal it, so that's a removal, right? For 1 turn, it's removed, and then you attack with it as well. That means you just added quite a lot to your board, right? That was for that 1 turn. That was 2 for 1 on the board. You remove the full creature, probably the best they have, and you got a full creature. And again, the best that they have, the best creature that they have. That is a huge tempo swing for 1 turn. And then, of course, if you sacrifice it, you had that huge tempo swing for one turn, and now you also really remove the creature and maybe got an extra effect. So yeah, that's an easy one. When there is good sacrifice in the set, these effects are great. Now, in Wildfell Rain, there was basically no sacrifice. If you remember, it was very hard. It was like an uncommon on the list that we would have now. I don't know what it was called then. It was basically no sacrifice. Now, Twisted Filthy, do you remember? Was it a good card or
It was good in a very specific type of deck.
what kind?
The one with the Catalyst Sellsword.
Oh no, that's yeah, that's. I mean, that is amazing if you do that. That's crazy powerful. Now the problem is the Catalyst Sellsword was one-time effect. With this, when you have a hijack effect, this is just like a simpler one than the filthy. This is the usual one.
Yeah.
Just steal a creature, untap it, attack. I mean, probably attack with it. When you have one-time effects with this, that means that the condition of you being able to sacrifice it is going to be very hard to fulfill. Very, very hard. Because, I mean, you're not going to wait with this hard card for 20 turns in your hand. I mean, then that's like you mulligan another time until you finally draw the hijack. Because it's not a game-breaking effect that, I was losing the whole game and now I finally draw this, the game is over. If you were playing like you mulliganed and not playing this card, well, that's a problem. So you are going to be using either the Sellsword or this effect a lot of times before the hijack gets into your hand. Now, for the sacrifice condition to be met, you usually need repeatable sacrifice effect, like a creature, enchantment, or something that is going to be on your battlefield that you can use as many times as you want, right? So you play it, the card already is doing what it's doing, then you finally draw hijack, and then it's doing something amazing. When you have just one-time effects, you can't wait with this one forever. You can maybe say 1 or 2 more turns. If I don't draw hijack, well, I gotta play this card. And then you draw hijack, and then you don't have it. So you need repeatable effects, because you really need that condition to be met. Because if you're just stealing something and attacking with it, well, usually it's gonna be pretty garbage. Like you just lost a full card, opponent just takes a bit of damage, and life goes on. Now, the reason why Twisted Filthy was amazing was because there is another condition for this. You hear?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm hearing. My house is really small, so even if I'm gone, I can still hear you.
Okay. I mean, if you ever want me, if you ever want to do something else,
No,
you can. It's fine. I can wait.
I have
all good.
ADHD.
Well, what do you say?
I have ADHD. I don't sit still very well.
Okay, whatever. It's like sometimes my students say, okay, I want to eat a little bit, get the food or something. It's all fine. Like this is about you, not about me.
Okay.
So just say we can do it however you want, and just as long as you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Now, the reason why Twisted Filthy was that good, because there's another condition when hijack type cards are good. And that condition is when you win the game that turn.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is, if you're not sacrificing that,
Yeah.
this is basically face damage.
Yes. It's just that, like, I feel like that condition is good, but I also thought it was, like, very narrow.
Yes, and it is. It's very narrow.
Hi, Jamie.
For a hijack card, it is.
Yeah.
That's basic. Almost all of the hijack cards are unplayable. Are like D-F cards. If you don't have these good repeatable. Hey, Jamie. I don't hear the notifications because I have you on Discord.
Yeah, Jamie's here.
When you have when you have when you don't have these repeatable sacrifice effects, usually hijack effects are garbage, because phase damage just phase damage, which this card is, right? Still something, attack, you have that good attack, it's phase damage. That creature, you're not gaining value, you're losing a full card for phase damage. And a lot of times you're not winning that turn or the turn after, which means you just lost on value, you just lost tempo, you lost everything just to deal damage to the face. An opponent is going to win in the next couple of turns. Now, the same thing applies to Twisted Filthy. There is very, very small amount of good sacrifice effects. So you kind of need another condition to be met for the card to be good. And that other condition is to win the game. To deal for that phase damage to win you the game over 1 or 2 turns. Now, the reason why this was good, because unlike Hijack, Twisted Filthy really does that well. It is so much phase damage that it really does win you the game that turn or next turn. You just need to get there, get them to 0, and it really it's the only standard legal hijack effect that does this really well and consistently. Because, okay, you get the first effect like you always do, normal thing, and then like this wicked roll. What it does is, like, it makes another attack possible that wouldn't be otherwise. Because you're stealing exactly what you want to steal for that turn, like the biggest creature or the most problematic blocker, whatever. And then they're also going to lose another point of life when when that creature dies. So this thing is so good at fulfilling that very narrow, like you said, that very narrow condition to actually deal enough phase damage over 1 or 2 turns that it wins you the game. It fulfills it so consistently that it was a really, really good card. That surprised me a little bit. I didn't expect it because I'm kind of used to hijack effects being really bad without sacrifice. So that was pretty interesting. And that's a good way to approach like these collect evidence cards. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this quite a bit is it's a little bit easier to talk about cards that we saw 1 trillion times already.
Yeah.
Is when you are grading these collect evidence cards and any card that requires a condition to be met, which these two are, it's like a creature for 2 or 3 mana. Doesn't need any conditions to be met. You just play it. It's a creature there. Its condition to be met is be a creature with stats on the board. That's pretty easy to meet. Like you don't need to think too much about it. You play a 2 mana 3/2. It trades with 2 drops, maybe it trades with 3 drops. It attacks, it blocks. It always does that. There is nothing special that you need to for it to work.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you are thinking, like, always try to think like how, if the card is good on as its base, cards like we collect evidence, for example, then the card is gonna be fine, probably gonna be like super fine and playable if it can do something extra once you've collected the evidence. But if the card needs that condition to be met, how easy it actually is, if it's very easy, who cares? Like, I don't know. Having an artifact on board in LCI is super easy, so that's always going to happen. You don't care, like it's the same like a creature. The condition is always met, but collect evidence is not that easy condition to be met. The more cards you have that collect evidence, well, the more times you're going to draw a card. But you're already exiled your graveyard, and it's not going to have the full effect. So it better be really, really good. If the card sucks when you can't collect the evidence, and you can kind of, I hope it is okay that I talked a lot about this, because you can transfer this to any set. When you don't think about an effect, collect evidence is so new, I don't know what the hell it's doing. Like, just think of it, this new mechanics as conditions to be met, and how hard and easy it is to meet them.
Okay.
Hope this was not boring for you.
No, it puts things into perspective in a more succinct way, because you like sort of know what's happening, but you never know why. So this is good. because it tells me why it's good. So now I can like actively look for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the there is like judging the set, evaluating the cards is a lot about trying to simplify the things as much as you can. Like just like try to find something that you know from before. Try to like not think about them as this is completely new. I have no idea what's up. And of course, everybody in the world is going to be wrong about a good amount of cards. That's just how it is. It's you can't. It would be pretty boring if you could figure out every single thing in the set and be correct about it.
Do you
Uh,
do you remember if a lot of the collect evidence cards were cards you would play later in the game? Or I mean with like higher value, so that means you're gonna cast it later in the game, and so therefore you'll have more things in the graveyard.
wait, can you just repeat the question, please? Sorry.
Oh, do you remember if a lot of the cards that have collect evidence in them are cards that you would play mid to late game?
Well, there is different ones. Like for example, there is a good one, good collect evidence card in uncommon green card. Let me see. Oh, you didn't do all the commons and uncommons, right?
No, I did all the commons and uncommons. Because
You
every
did all
time
the
I,
commons and uncommons?
yeah,
Are you sure?
yeah.
Wait, 1 second. You're 100% sure?
Yeah, I spent 4 hours yesterday.
No, 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 no. it, let me see. 1 second. Then don't why don't I have them? Maybe I'm just gonna delete this like question marks. Maybe that's messing up the list. You did them? You did the multicolored ones?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, 1 second then. I'm gonna just delete my grades again. Let me see. So you can go to the individual cards. Mm, so
Hmm.
you did the multicolor cards. 1 second. Toop toop. Floats and Jetsam. Yeah, you did this. Oh, please work. Agrus Lazav. Okay. Let me see. CC. Wait, but are you? Hmm.
For some reason, yours are pushed down by like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Like the first 9 cards don't have your grades.
The first, I have removed all of my grades.
Oh.
So they don't like because they're gonna order the tier list then by my grades, and these stonks are not gonna move around because there should be nothing here. So you did all the commons and uncommons, and wait, why am I? Mhm.
Hi, Nordic Grass.
No, 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 it's okay. Everybody by rarity. Cease, desist. Let me see. Cease, desist. Rune. Blade juggler. Sorry about this.
No, this is my fault because I don't know how to use this damn thing.
Actually, yes, it is.
I think it might be easier to maybe just copy the plain text into another Excel sheet and then just like copy your grades onto a plain text, and then my stunk also copy that into plain text next to yours. You know what I mean? So that way you don't have to mess with the formula or anything. You just see my grade and your grade next to yours.
But let's just see 1 second. How many is this? 251 minus 185. What is that? Like 65, something like that. And hope I was not super wrong about it. And this is the same. And it should all be here. Well, let me just try it one more time. Paste values only. Oh, maybe it's just not sorted here. Like, let me see. Bolrak Clan Basher. Do we have that one? Bolrak. Oh, Bolrak Clan Basher. I'm just gonna try one more thing. Let me see. No, wait. Are you sure you did it? Exactly every single common uncommon? And it's no problem if you didn't, because I don't see the grade here, like for the Bolrak Clan Basher. And now it's ordered.
Let me see your mine.
Now it's ordered by, like for example, do you remember grading this one?
Oh, I didn't grade that one. The bull rack? No.
That's great.
Okay.
That's
sorry.
great, because then everything is fine. You just didn't grade few cards. That is completely fine.
Oh shoot.
Okay, let me do this again then. Okay, so everything was fine. You just didn't grade a couple of cards. That's perfect. Like, it's no problem that you didn't grade a couple of cards. So we can just continue. Oh, I'm very happy that you didn't grade a couple of cards, because I would not know what was the problem if you did.
Wow. Sorry, I guess I should have said I thought I graded them all.
It's okay. It's okay. Like every time I have a card evaluation session with a student, I always tell them, like, do as much as you feel okay doing, because it is a lot of work, and it doesn't matter that I love doing it. Maybe not everybody's gonna have the same fun doing it, because it is a lot of work, and for like
yeah.
doing the actual set review for me is the most draining out of anything that I'm doing for streaming. It's the most draining thing, but it's also the most satisfying thing for me.
Oh, okay. Feel like your work's paying off.
What do you say?
You feel like your work pays off.
I mean, it just feels good.
Okay.
And it's fun. It just feels good and it's fun. But it's not the same for everybody. Like some are like, okay, I'm gonna grade the commons and a couple of uncommons or something like that. It's just like, it doesn't make sense like to force yourself to go through everything, every single card. If for the last half you're gonna be like, I spend it, yes, I don't want to do this. Then you're not even gonna do it right. Okay, you're gonna tell me if these are your grades in the end. So now we should have them. order well. It doesn't matter. This where you see only my grades. Who cares about those? And here about these, I'm gonna delete them just so they don't. Just just so they don't confuse, well, me and maybe other people. And you're gonna tell me, like, when we get a little bit into the individual card gradings. Boom. You're gonna tell me if these are actually your grades, if maybe if something got messed up or not. Okay. This one is interesting. I'm just gonna close all of that down. We're not gonna go. Okay, first thing, like that. Unless a student is very, very good at evaluating cards, we never go through it all. Unless he's like really, really, really good. I have a couple like that. It's like then we just have a couple of things maybe to discuss, because we are just gonna go over the things that I find that might be problematic, and probably not all of them. And it's, how should I put this? Like sometimes I'm going to see a grade and it's going to look like, oh, this is a very different grade. But both of us could be right. Like there are some cards where I'm thinking, okay, this card could be a C, and it could be much worse or much better, but I'm not really sure about it. It's there are always going to be cards like that, or both could be right. But let me see. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. How's the Vigilante? I gave it a D plus, you gave it a B.
Vigilante, which, okay. Yeah.
I have it up.
I really liked it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you do like it, since you gave it a B. So it would be very. I wouldn't know what to say if you said you didn't like it then. But by the way, did you read the Legend first, or
Yes.
just went by? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool. It's just that so our grades are kind of similar. So I know that they're kind of from the same grading system, because there are people that have like A, B, C, D, F, and they actually mean something else. So sometimes the student doesn't read them, which is completely fine, and then I just ask them like, what does A mean for you? What does B mean for you? And things like that. So for you, this is going to be a really high pick, I'm guessing.
Yeah, mainly because I was thinking of all the morph cards that were going to be face down.
I mean, anything that's with power 2 or less. You thought there was going to be more cards?
Well,
What do you mean more?
no,
More than
okay.
what?
So I like this card because I thought a 4/4 was fine for 5, like ish. That's not really good, right? But like it's fine because of its other effects. Because you're gonna be playing so many morph cards, and then it buffs them just by it coming in or it attacking. So, it will make a lot of those toughness creatures that I saw trade worse with your morph cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more two powered creatures in this set than in other sets. You do have the morph cards. You do have the one drops, two drops. Those are usually 2 power, and in this set especially they are 2 power. In this set, like in general, what do you feel about about the creature's stat lines compared to the previous couple of sets?
I think they're pretty poopy.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
I
They
think
are
the ones
poopy,
here are pretty poopy.
and they are poopy. If they would be in those previous sets, but If everything is a little bit poopy, then nothing is poopy.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. A set is defined by the power level of the cards in exactly that set. So that's if there would be a ton of like if white would have 3 3s for 2 and everything would be like that, then that would completely break the format. So it doesn't matter that this set has lower stat lines of especially early drops than other sets. If everything kind of has that, then you gotta dump them down, right? The 4/4 in basically any set in the previous years would be complete garbage for 5. But here, it's fine because everything is a little bit smaller, which is very, very interesting. I'm gonna ask you something about it a little bit later.
Okay.
But I do, for example, I like this card, and I think it might go a little bit higher than a D plus, but I do like this card. Now the problem with picking, since you gave it a B, that's a pretty high pick. I'm guessing it's not like you gave everything a B. The problem with picking 5 drops as a B graded cards, like as that highly, is that they are 5 drops, and every deck can contain a limited amount of those.
Okay.
That is the problem. So even usually, we are going by when I try to generalize a little bit, I go for the average, right? There's always going to be exceptions, but basically every good 5 drop is kind of, you don't pick it very highly
Oh,
in draft, right?
That's
Still,
true.
a little bit different you get like a 5 drop that you really want in your deck. You don't pick it very highly because especially when there are a little bit more 5 drops in other colors, when there's like a single 5 drop in an archetype, sure, you can take it highly. The reason for that is that, well, you can get that one in, and every other 5 drop that you see is going to be shit because they'll suck except this one, so that's kind of fine. But when 5 drops are kind of fine, when you have multiples, just a couple, especially when they're common, like this is the big deal when they're common. Then you take one highly, all right, it's good for your deck. You take the second one highly, all right, you're happy with it. And then every single 5 drop that you get somewhere after 2 or something is not going to make the deck, right? You get a pack 1, pick 14 5 drop. You put it in a sideboard. You get a pack 2, pick 13 5 drop. You put it in a sideboard. You get a really powerful 5 drop, even better than this one. You put this one in the sideboard and that one in the deck.
Yeah.
So you're losing, like when you pick 5 drops highly, 5 drops, it's 5 drops, 6 drops, 7 drops. Those are okay, 7 drops are like whatever. 5 drops and 6 drops. Every deck can contain a limited amount of them. Sometimes that number is 0, but usually you can have like 1, 2, maybe 3 or something like that. 6 drops also. A lot of decks want 0, but some decks are fine with like 1 or 2. Not much more for the average deck. I'm not talking like you got a perfect ramp and everything, and now you want to fill your deck with 5 and 6 drops. And this one kind of doesn't want you to be aggressive, right? Wants you to have a low curve.
Yeah.
Because you want to attack with this one, right? You want to be the one who has tricks. You want to be the one that's getting out there on the board.
Yeah.
But in general, for just evaluating cards and picking cards, be careful about 5 drop creatures and most of the things that cost this much, because you can't have too many in the deck. And then when you pick them highly, later on you're just going to be losing picks if you get them for free. So this kind of translates to a lot of cards with different effects that you want maybe 1 of or maybe 2 of, and they're easy to get. Like there's a couple of them, and that means that even if the card is perfect for your deck, in like pack 1, pack 2, where the card evaluation makes the most sense, in pack 3, you're usually patching up the holes that you have in your deck. Like, oh, I don't have enough
Mm-hmm.
removal, I don't have enough tricks, I don't have enough whatever you need. Synergy, something for synergy, artifacts, I don't know. But for the like first 2 packs where the card evaluation makes most sense, if you pick these cards that you don't want too many in your deck and you can't fit too many in your deck, even if they're really good for the deck, you're just going to be losing picks later. And again, that all changes like late pack to late.
True.
The grades don't really do much for like these late pack 2 and most of pack 3, because well, you need to fix. You usually need to fix some things, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna now it's time to fix what I didn't get in the first 2 packs. In the first 2 packs, it's most like power level and stuff. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. This is a very common thing. Very common thing that people grade good 5 drops very highly. Same for the 6 drops. And
Okay.
now I want to. This one is so weird, and I want to talk about more important things. Oh, yeah, this one. I gave it a D. You gave it a B. Pretty big difference. Not on my watch. To mana exile target attacking creature. Just you think about this. Can I just run to the bathroom?
Yeah.
We talk too much about poopy.
Go for it. Hi guys. How are y'all doing? Make some dirt himself. He needs to fertilize some dirt. Um, if someone can get a hold of Ham, let him know that Lola is here because I think he wanted to watch this one. I messaged him on Discord, but I don't think he saw it. I don't know how many of you guys are in contact with that boomer. That boomer. Oh, Ham. Are you watching the stream while you poop? I messaged Ham on Discord, but I don't think he's actively checking. Yes. Yes. That Ham. You are a ham, aren't you, Nerdy Steve? Among other things. Wink, wink. There's 10 people. But he can. What makes you think he can't be this omnipresent? Come on now. It's Steve. He's ever so watchful. I do wonder though how often it is that Steve is actually in my stream and he's just not saying anything. Huh. The rain actually stopped. Wasn't expecting that. In case you guys are wondering what I'm doing to my nails, I'm giving them 5G. What wasn't that bad? Oh, the rain? Oh yeah, it wasn't. We were just worried because I think a lot of people were expecting the rain to be like it was last time, where like we just got like 3 inches all at once. And a lot of people's I don't know if you saw it, Captain Wacky. A lot of the people's houses got flooded and their cars got flooded. Um, my coworker showed me a picture of her house and stuff. The rain and the current that it made managed to knock down 2 fences and took her outdoor furniture into the street, and and the cushion was just floating down the street and it was gone forever. Is Lola pooping? Yeah, he's pooping.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not pooping anymore. See, guys, this is when you have good fiber in your diet. You don't spend as much time in the toilet.
I could have been even faster, is what I was on chat talking. Yeah, it is true. It is true. Oatmeal does wonders.
Dude, oatmeal makes me
Wonders.
shit my fucking brains out. I cannot have
Really?
oatmeal.
You did not have oatmeal
I
today?
no, I can't have oatmeal because it makes me poop so bad. Like
Bad?
yeah, like diarrhea.
What?
Yeah,
How do you prepare it?
it's just regular oatmeal with hot water.
And you wait like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. Like,
Yeah.
that's like so fiber rich. It should do the opposite. That's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, my body is not happy with oatmeal.
For me, it's doing wonders. And for everybody that knows, this is the first time I hear something like this. That's what the hell? That's weird. I eat it with
Oh.
milk. By the way. I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled. I eat it with milk.
Oh, okay. That might help actually.
Really?
Yeah, because some people get like constipated when they have
Hot
they get a little
water?
bit more constipated if they have like lactose products.
Oh, really? Isn't
Yeah.
it the opposite?
That's if they're lactose intolerant, I think. But
Mm.
if I eat cheese, I get very constipated. Anyways, so this card not on my watch. The reason I liked it.
Where did that cheese come from? You just wanted to say that for like 30 minutes, probably.
No.
Again, cheese.
Yes.
Like,
So I'm thinking
oatmeal.
if I eat it with if I eat the oatmeal with the milk instead of water, maybe it'll make things not diarrhea. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe you should eat it with cheese then.
Okay.
I mean,
Problem solved. We're thinkers here.
not on my watch. Cheese doesn't go on oatmeal. But you tell me about not on my watch. Why do you
Um,
like it so much?
I like it because it doesn't like. Sure, it's like sort of conditional, but it's cheap and it exiles a creature. So I think that's the thing that I liked it a lot about it. It doesn't just restore it, it exile it. Because like a lot of removals that I've seen where you exile a creature, they're aside from enchantments, like what was it? Taken by Nightmares was a 4 drop, a 2 black for you to exile a creature. So I thought if this is just 2, then that sounds great. It's just that it has a condition.
Yeah, it is a problematic condition. So there are a couple of these cards are historically never really good. Like it,
Oh.
yeah. The problem is they might work in some decks. They might work in some decks, but they are just the problem is that when you gotta keep the 2 mana open, right? So you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're playing against an opponent who kind of doesn't just who's not watching YouTube while doing this, who's like actually who decides if they're gonna thinks about like tricks and everything, and there is more and more of those. Like
Yeah.
maybe it works better in some local game stores, but the problem is you keep the 2 mana open, an opponent doesn't attack, or opponent doesn't attack with the creature that you want to kill, and that might completely mess up what you were doing, right? So oh, you if you're the one getting beaten down and it's late game, you don't. This is fine. It's well, I mean, you're always gonna have 2 mana up. You're not losing anything by waiting with it. But so many cards work like that. Like, oh, in the late game, this is gonna be completely fine. Like any card or anything is great then. But during the development phases, like the first kind of like 7 turns in limited, maybe a little bit less than 7 in the modern limited, but in this set you are gonna have more time to develop. But that doesn't matter. This one is basically never really good. I would be extremely surprised to see it be good because it never is. And the reason is when opponent decides to not attack there, loses an attack. So they lose an attack. It might feel like, oh, nice, they didn't attack. But the games most often are lost when you were losing resources, when you are losing in those earlier turns, when you are losing mana. And here they don't attack; they continue developing the board, right? They play their creatures, whatever, use their removal, whatever they wanted, and you didn't develop the board, right? You had 2 or 3 mana up. I don't know how much you had to do it. It's not always perfect that you have just 2 mana. You might leave up 3. And then you already put yourself behind, right? You are probably a bit behind if you gotta keep a removal up on their turn. If you can't just develop your board and continue attacking or whatever, it means that you're a bit on the defensive already. And then they develop more, and now you're so behind. Like, you're not getting this mana back at any point.
Oh, so it's sort of like with counter spells, if you're already behind, it's not good to hold up counter spells.
Yeah, that's why, like, unless the counter spell is really, really, really good, in limited it is risky, because opponent might just decide to use something at instant speed, or maybe they're gonna play like three small things, and then, well, you had 4 mana up or 3 or whatever, and well, you countered something way lower, of a way lower mana cost than that. So that's the same kind of applies here. It's, I don't know. Sometimes opponent has like white and something up, and they didn't play a creature, and I decide, depending on my hand, like, okay, it's turn 3, I'm not gonna attack. It's fine. I didn't deal 2 damage or whatever. But if they had this, well, are they gonna keep it up again? Like, the more they keep it up, the more I'm developing the board, and board wipes are rare. So at one point, like, it won't even matter. Like, they lost the mana on a couple of turns, right? Because then you might be pressed to keep this up on the next turn, because now, like, okay, I gotta kill that creature, and they don't attack again. And they're just like amassing the board, and all of a sudden, this card doesn't matter anymore. It lost you so much mana, it lost you so much tempo.
Yeah.
That you're just losing the game even if you remove that creature. Well, now you got to remove 3 creatures all of a sudden. So that's the problem. Like, you can never use it proactively. Is another like huge problem with any of these like conditional removal spells where the creature needs to get into combat. This one is like, has extra problems attached to it. Because exile target attacking creature. We don't see this a lot lately. It's like, if you're the one attacking, you didn't draw a card. You mulliganed. Right? You had a card that is not worth a card if you're the one attacking.
Yeah.
And if you want to be proactive, like whatever, if you want to like affect the board right away, you want to do it. Well, you can't. With this one, you can't. And so this is another smaller problem. White, it seems like it's gonna be the best aggressive color in the set, like it has the best early game, and that adds to this being worse.
Okay.
But just historically, these cards, even though it's a removal, if opponent decides to let you waste that mana, if they feel, it's just about a feeling, right? Can I, if I don't attack this turn, can I win? Am I gonna affect the board enough? So I can win without attacking this turn, without pushing this damage? A lot of times the answer is yes.
Oh.
Because if you're aggressive, you're not winning by most of the time by just killing the opponent on turn 5. That doesn't happen much in limited. Some crazy boards, sure, but that on average doesn't happen. It's more like amassing the tempo, like having more stats, more mana on the battlefield than the opponent. However you want to do it, with cheap tricks, with double spelling, with efficient early game creatures overstated, whatever they are, with going wide, whatever it is. Like that's how aggressive deck usually win. Like they get a tempo advantage, which means the more mana on the battlefield. That's why you don't want to draw cards in the early game. You don't want to play 3 mana to draw 2 cards in the early game, because opponent is going to play a 3-drop, and well, they're going to mess their board presence and kill you before you even play those cards that you have drawn.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Do you want to talk anything about it?
No, I'm just absorbing information. I do have a question though.
Yeah.
So there are those cards in LCI, and I'm thinking the reason it works out so well in that set is because that set was generally very like aggressive and fast paced. So things like Copium Blast and the Saw, the one that like flashes in the artifact, were good because you were attacking more often, or opponent was attacking more often. But maybe in a set like this where it's a little bit slower, these aren't as good.
It's not just that, like compare the Saw, right? The Saw
Yeah.
can kill basically anything when it attacks,
Mm-hmm.
right? This thing can kill anything when it attacks. This thing can be played on your turn. Like you can spend the mana,
Oh.
do everything that you want, and then comes your turn. You play this and you kill their tapped creature because it just needs to be tapped. So you didn't leave yourself in a position where you're kind of like, please opponent attack, please opponent attack. You're like, if they attack, I'm just gonna kill them my turn. If they don't, I'm not. So it is
Oh.
a condition that's much easier to fulfill. And then the more times you keep up the mana for this in those developing stages, the more times you're like, if they don't attack this turn, I lose the game. At one point, it's like, if they don't attack with that creature, I lose the game. I just spent too much mana, keeping up too much mana.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Copium Blast was also better because it's attacking or blocking. This is only attacking.
Yeah, the blast is the 4 damage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was not a very good card. That was whatever. That is also that kind of ties to this one. That it's kind of whatever, right? When again, if you're going to use it on the defense, you need to keep up mana. It has the same problem. If you're going to use it on the offense, well, now your creature is not getting through. So yeah, that one is really nothing special. It doesn't work that great. It's more playable, but it doesn't work that great in any scenarios. This one, you can just play it at any point. Plus, it's also 2-for-1, right? Because you're gonna get a 5/5 at one point. That is like the big deal. If this was just the first part, nobody would really care about it. But this one also is gonna get you a 5/5 vehicle at one point. So that's like the huge deal. Both the Exile for 3 mana and the 4 damage are not very good cards. For the same reason. For the same reason, it's not on my watch, but this one is like even worse. And I would be very surprised if it's good in this set. So
Okay.
I'm always wrong about some things. Everybody is. That's just how it is. That's the reason why Magic is so interesting. Anything else about it? Because this
No.
one is you're gonna have similar cards. So anything you want to talk about is it's good because you're gonna have very similar cards in every single set. Like White always has some things like this, variations of it.
Okay, no, that's it.
Okay. Let me just see. Okay. B for this one. Clarify.
B for this one. Let's see. Oh, I was thinking about like, it has a big butt. Um,
It has a really big butt.
it has a really big butt for 5, and I guess like you don't attack very well with it, but that's fine because the point of like putting it down. I'm assuming the point of this card was to play it face down, right? And because everything gains hexproof, including itself, they can't use artifact removal on it, and they're very unlikely to be able to use some form of removal at all on it,
It would have been artifact removal. I mean,
or removal in general because it has like hexproof now.
but it's only for one turn.
Yeah, it could also help like, um, when you attack or something and the opponent tries to like blow you out or whatever. It would also be useful then.
What kind of scenario are you envisioning of them blowing you out?
You know how like when you double block something and then you are also putting yourself potentially in a position where like you get blown out because you double block and opponent has mana up and then you remove one of your creatures that you're double blocking with, right? Yes. If you turn this one up, it makes it so they can't do that.
That is true, but how often do you end up in that kind of situation?
Me? Always.
Always?
Every single fucking game. Every single fucking game.
What?
Every single fucking game.
And how often? Every game that seems fine. Like a double block. Okay, I guess when you're not aggressive, right? When the opponent gets the aggression. There's no way you're aggressive that you're gonna be double blocking.
No. And if you're playing this card, you have a big butt, you're obviously not going to be aggressive either.
Well, yeah, you're not gonna, this one is not going to be aggressive at all. So, okay, you're kind of slower, I guess, and you're afraid of them blowing you out, but... So you're double blocking. Are you really going to keep 3 mana for this? For that exact situation to arise, right? Like you double block, an opponent actually has a removal, and then not a trick but a removal, and then you flip this. Like, what if that doesn't happen? Like, what are you gonna do with that 3 mana?
Cry.
That, yeah, you're gonna cry. That's the problem. Like, so you're getting into the conditional situation that you have on the blocks, and it can happen, like you double block, opponent has removal. It does probably when you're blocking. It's gonna happen once in a game when you are on the defensive. Yeah, that makes sense. But then that one time opponent has to have a removal as well. And yeah, and if they don't, you just wasted 3 mana. But the big problem of this is, so you have that, sure, you're doing that, you get into that situation, yeah, which is if that happens, it's fine. But when it doesn't, what are you doing with a 1/10?
Blocking everything so opponent can't get there.
Well, for either 3+3 mana, which is kind of 6 in total, but not really, because 3+3 is much easier, or for 5 mana, creatures where you invest that amount of mana usually block like 2-drops and 3-drops at least, and kill them, and don't die.
Okay, fair.
That's the thing, right? This thing is not going to stop any attacks, right? You see this thing, you're attacking. You see this opponent board. You're like, whatever. I'm just going to continue attacking, and they're going to, I guess, how do you say this? Bounce off one of my attackers is gonna bounce off this thing. It's like my 2/2 is gonna get blocked by the 5 drop, and it's still gonna survive.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, there is when you have a 5/5/5 drop. Now that thing, if you're blocking, it kills basically every 2 drop, 3 drop, and 4 drop without dying. And it at one point it can also be like, now I'm attacking with a big 5/5. This thing doesn't block well and it doesn't attack well. Right? So you better get this situation come up without you spending too much turns and too much mana where the hexproof really matters. Because you're not getting left with anything special. You're getting left with a wall. The wall is now in your deck. That's I don't know. Like, how much do you like the two mana 0/5s, 0/6s or something like that?
I used to like them until someone told me last night that they're poopy.
Okay, glad that, so who told you that?
Captain Wacky.
Okay, Captain Vector is correct. The reason that they're poopy is because they never trade. The only thing that they're doing is, I guess, blocking one thing, and they just don't trade with it, and they can never go on the offensive. It's a big problem if you have creatures that don't block well, because blocking something without killing it is not blocking well. It's just like, I blocked.
Oh, okay, so that's what. Okay, so when it blocks well, you guys also mean it kills when it blocks.
Yeah, that's like blocking well, right?
Oh.
When you have like a 2/2 on for 2 mana, like opponent plays a 2 drop, you trade with it. It's dead forever. There we go. 0/5 kind of does that, but it doesn't kill it, right? And they can continue attacking. When you get into higher cost creatures, you want them to, if they're not doing something special, you want them to stop the attacks, not just save you a bit of life. You want to stop attacks. You want, when you play like a 4 mana 4/4, let's say, you want that creature to be like, opponent, you gotta have a trick. You gotta have something. Your 2/2s, your 3/3s, they cannot attack through my 4 drop. That's why, for example, the 4 mana 4/2 creatures without really good effects in the last, I don't know, 7-10 years, whatever, have been really bad. Because, well, their 2 drop can always attack, and it's always gonna trade. And even if that 4 drop is good on the offensive, it better be extremely powerful. Because when the opponent plays their 4/4, for example, which is like normal for a 4 drop, that thing is gonna require you to have something else for your 2 drops and 3 drops to even consider attacking. Right? You need to have a card in your hand that's gonna deal with that, because you don't want to just attack with your 3/3 into the 4/4 and let it die. Nobody wants to do that. That's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense about big butts?
Yes.
And there is one more thing. This going into offensive, I cannot state like how important this is. If you're playing a super slow control deck, I think I might have mentioned this last time a little bit, but now we're talking about card evaluation. When you have like a super slow deck, the easiest and also uncommon way to win, but the easiest way to win with a control deck is to be the aggressive deck in the early game. Now, this is something you don't expect, right? You're built a slower deck, but if you're on the play, and it's limited, it's not constructed, it's not finely tuned that everybody has the perfect deck. So you're on the play, you're playing against aggressive deck, you have a slow deck, but you curve out first, an opponent maybe misses a 2 drop. Like that happens. It's limited. It happens. They miss a 2 drop, and you're the one who is attacking. So opponent has to be on the defensive with an aggressive deck, and you're gonna win the late game. I mean, you're playing a slow deck, a control deck. You have great late game, so you're gonna win in the late game, draw a lot of cards, do weird things, and so on. Now, when you have a 0/5 or something like that for the early game, that is never gonna happen. You're never gonna. That card doesn't allow you to take initiative.
Mm.
So it is also about like seizing the opportunity. even if you're expected to be on the defensive for most games, like having the opportunity of not being when the chance arises is huge. And these big bats just don't allow you to do that.
Hmm. Someone asked, what if opponent has a 9/9 and I can block it with this big butt?
Yes, this is pretty good against the 9/9. This is pretty good against the 9/9. When you see that the opponent is playing a lot of 9/9s, this seems like I want to have a lot of these in.
Okay.
The good old 9/9s.
The good old 9/9. There were some crazy ones, like a 6/7 or something like that, or a 7/6. It was one of the multicolor ones.
Yeah, the Helion. There was a Helion. I think it was the Helion, yeah.
Yeah.
This one, yeah. The green is gonna be liking these creatures. Now, what colors do you feel that are gonna be fine with aggression in this set? What do you think?
Um, Fine is hard because I saw a lot of like cards where like if you attack with 3 or more, so I'm like assuming they want you to be aggressive, but I don't know if it's good to do that. It's like red and white, I think.
Red?
Yeah.
Okay, why do you think red?
Red just usually does that. And also,
Oh, okay.
no, it did have like those cards that like if you attack with 3 or more creatures, I think. And let's see what else are you.
Mm.
Oh, don't remember much. I just went by this. But I remember a lot of it was like you can attack and do a bunch of stuff.
What do you remember? You can attack and
Whenever you attack with like 3 or more creatures, something happens. There was also like that goblin.
oh, so okay, you continue, please. If you have more to say.
There was the braggart. No, it wasn't the braggart. Yeah, there was braggart. That's the 5-drop that like makes it so you can give it menace or not. So it was fine and everything. And then there was also the little goblin that like did things. The little one with the pen that's writing and stuff. Where is it?
Is this one golden mask maker? It's not really. It's like making masks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's. As soon as I said it, I figured out it was called the mask maker.
Yeah, it wasn't that one. I think if you keep going down, there was also this red herring that wants to attack all the time.
That
and
must
then,
attack all the time.
Yeah.
Big difference. I don't think it wants to attack all the time. I think
Okay.
It must.
So sorry. Yeah, it was that, and then keep going down. Where is it? Why isn't it not here? Did I think of the wrong card?
You might have thought about the uncommon, maybe.
Yeah.
You mean the. There is the uncommon. 1 second. The reckless detective.
There you go. Crime novelist was one of them too, and the reckless detective. Yeah, because it gets +2/+0. It's right under the reckless detective.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Tech 3, the Tech 3 kind of like battalion type of effect, a mechanic that we have in this set. So the reason if a caller is going to be aggressive or not is again usually not this is what the kind of wizards wants, right? They give you, this caller wants to attack with 3 creatures, like in this set. Okay, you're gonna want to attack with 3 creatures in boards or whatever, and okay, that's a fine place to start. Okay, there are some payoffs, right? Some payoffs are there. All right, let's and then the payoffs are not going to decide if the caller is aggressive, like unless they are completely broken, right? If they're extremely powerful. If the payoff is you're going to be getting a investigate token, the clue token that's going to draw you a card, That's not a crazy powerful payoff. If it's gonna be all your creatures get +2/+2 trample every time 3 creatures attack, and you're consistently gonna have that, then it kind of doesn't matter what your creatures are, because they're gonna get freaking +2/+2 and trample. So that's a crazy payoff that really doesn't rely on your early game creatures being good and aggressive. But that's what I just mentioned is the main reason for a caller to be aggressive, for a caller to be a good aggressive caller. That you want to make your decks around, right? When you go in red in LCI, you expect to be aggressive because there is so much support for it.
Mm-hmm.
And here, like let's say red is usually aggressive, yeah, but the easiest way to do this is always check. This is very quick. Always check on Scryfall, like sort by mana value and check like the early game creatures. Are they really good at being aggressive? So we got a 1/2 that is never bigger than a 1/2. That doesn't sound like a great attacker, right? Opponent plays a 2/2, and all of a sudden this guy can never attack again. Well,
Yeah.
that's out. Not an aggressive creature. The payoff is you're gonna maybe play your face down creatures a little bit faster, but it's just gonna die to so many 2-drops. Okay, then we have a 2/1, which is not the best aggressive stat line.
Oh
right?
yeah, I
Literally
thought that was bad.
Yeah, and when it's dealt 3 damage, investigate. All right, so that's not a nothing is aggressive about this one. It's
What's the
2/1
block
that can,
of anything?
that can exactly like, or I mean, that it can draw you a card at one point, which is very nice, but it doesn't really propel you towards being aggressive. Being aggressive is about getting things on the board, keeping them on the board, having a better board presence than the opponent in those first like 6 turns or something. It's 7 a lot of times, but 7 or less, depending on the set. Now, this thing just doesn't do that. Drawing one card, hopefully drawing one card later for 2 more mana is not tempo. That's card advantage. Because with aggressive decks, you kind of expect to have worse late game than anything that's slower than you. All right, then we get to the red herring. It's a 2 mana 2 with haste. All right, that's good. That's good for aggressive deck. But it must attack every single combative fable. Some decks are gonna probably make it work. But try thinking about any 2-drop that you play that it must attack every single combative fable. There's always one turn, and sometimes it comes pretty fast, where you're like, I really don't want to attack with my 2-drop. I'm gonna attack with my 2-drop in 1 or 2 or 3 turns. That's when it's gonna continue attacking.
Yeah.
And with this one, that's not an option.
Yeah.
So you got your aggressive 2-drop out, you attack with it once, let's hope it didn't trade. Now opponent plays a 2/3 or 3/3 or 4/4, whatever. And now you're either gonna be just letting it die, or hopefully having some tricks to back it up. But again, hopefully you draw them. And then the other option is pay 2 mana to sacrifice to draw a card. Sure, you didn't lose a card, but you're an aggressive deck that just spent 4 mana to cycle a card, to draw 1 card. You spent 4 mana to just draw 1 card. You lost the early game. Like you lost the early game. If you do that, you just lost the early game. There is no coming back from spending 4 mana to literally do nothing. Maybe deal 2 damage or something. So this is where your aggression is gonna come from. Like from 1-drops and 2-drops in basically every set. And that's where you're gonna decide if a color is good at being aggressive.
Okay. I need to pee. I'll be right back. Wait, I need to pee.
You pee. Oh my god, it's 1 a.m. for me. Hey, Flubab. How are you guys doing? Is she gonna get in chat while peeing? Is Innocent Bystander a secret gold card or just bad? Okay, you gotta tell me, like, what do you mean secret gold card? Like, you gotta say, like, is it? I don't understand what kind of gold card you mean. Like, is it a secret red blue card? Is it a secret red white card? What kind of a gold card? In blue red, but why does the bystander get into blue red? Like, what does blue red have with it? I mean, I think it's playable. Like, you gotta play the two drops. Just because of the investigate token. I mean, investigate token is good anywhere if you're gonna get it. Isn't blue red lose deck? Yeah, it cares about artifacts. Yeah, it cares about sacrificing them as well. But I mean, clue is gonna be good anywhere, right? If you do get a clue from this one and you did something meaningful, it's good. No, this is more like we're working on card evaluation, Domino Man. Working a bit on card evaluation, not going through all the cards, obviously, just the most glaring bad habits that I think and faulties that Dirt Nymph had and has. All the cards are good.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna have to go soon.
Okay.
As I'm waking in the morning for my therapy groups.
Ooh, okay.
So
Let's do one more then.
Sorry, what?
Let's do one more then.
Let's do one more card. Yeah, that I think is. Let me find one that is kind of important. In these cases, let's not do the case. Let's then do something that transfers better to other sets. Now you gave this one a bomb grading.
Yes.
All right, let's go. This is spicy.
Okay. You're often going to sacrifice a clue from what it seems. And then I think like looting effects or rummaging effects tend to be pretty good. So it's almost like you get to draw a card, attack without it being blocked. So you get to like save your creature still even when you attack. And then you get to look for a better card if you need it as well. Like I think that's good.
And when do you start cracking these clues?
When do you?
When do you start cracking these clues? Like you're sacrificing a clue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time.
Yeah, I guess you're trying to get at like the curve thing. How often am I gonna get the mana to sack a clue and also play this like 3-drop? Is that what you're trying to get at?
On what turn do you feel comfortable like sacrificing a clue?
Turn. Well, usually I would hopefully get to sacrifice one by turn 2.
Turn 2?
Oh wait, I would have to sacrifice this on turn 4 because I have to put this out first, and then the next turn, then I sacrifice a clue. Okay, got that.
Okay, so but what was that about turn 2?
Never mind. I was just confused.
Okay. Because both are very are situations that can happen, like sacking a clue on turn 2 or on turn 4. But both of these situations are the ones that you would prefer not happening to you. The reason for that is the most important thing in Limited to do in basically every game. In the first, again, development phases, something like first 7 turns or a little bit less, is develop the board. Either by playing creatures, by removing their creatures, just develop the board. That's That's what you want to do in doing those first turns. Because later on, everybody has mana. You can do both of you can do whatever you want, but the game can end if the opponent developed the board too much, and you gotta like start scrapping. Like it doesn't matter what kind of cards you drew or whatever, because now you gotta chump block. Now you gotta make risky bad blocks. So your cards are not worth what they usually are because you're kind of desperate. And you don't want to get into that situation. And the way that you avoid that situation is by developing the board for yourself or stopping the opponent from developing the board in these first 7 turns. Now, which means you really don't want to draw cards in those early turns.
Oh.
Now, sometimes you just have 2 mana lying around. You're not going to do anything else. Of course, you're going to draw a card. I mean, sometimes you're on turn 3. You're going to play divination, 3 mana, draw 2 cards. You never want to do that, but if that's the only thing you can do, you're just gonna do it. It's what it is. But you never want to aim at doing that. You never want to hope for doing that, because that's something that's on average is very negative for the flow of those first 7 turns, because it's gonna get you behind, and you can kind of never get the mana that you lost in the early turns back, where opponent impacted the board in those turns. So you don't want to be drawing using a clue on turn 2. You don't want to be using a clue on turn 4. If you have any other options of developing the board, it's same for any card draw. Well, clue is just draw a card. So same for any card draw. You would prefer not to do that. Now I'm talking about the average game. There's always going to be maybe some crazy deck that just wants to, in some format, you want to like draw a bunch of cards, play a lot of instants and sorceries in first 3 turns, and then you have some big payoffs on turn 4 or 5 that gets you back like huge. You make a lot of creatures because you played a lot of instants, blah blah blah. There are all these things like that. But I'm talking about on average when you don't have that kind of crazy thing.
Yeah.
So when you are satisfied and when you're aiming to use the clues, it's gonna be a little bit later in the game. It's gonna be on turns like 7, 6, maybe 8, 10, and so on. Where you just have enough mana lying around that it doesn't hurt your board. Like you're drawing cards and you're playing cards and it's all fine. And there's another thing, like with this one. Well, you can. The nice thing is you can just attack and draw a card, discard a card, and then see if you actually want to crack a clue. A lot of times the answer is going to be, well, now I have something to play because I got another thing. So this is going to be just fine trading. Now I kind of like this card. I do like this card. It is just not extremely powerful, that it would deserve a bomb grading. It is pretty good. It's gonna be even better in certain decks that have enough clues. But you're gonna start doing these things in late game, and usually, if you didn't play this in late game, you're gonna just trade it off, which is what you do with 3 drops. That's what 3 drops do. That's fine. And this is going to trade with literally anything. I guess not one powered creatures, but basically any 2-drop and 3. And that's fine for a 3-drop to just trade, and it can help you out in late game as well. So it's not a bad card, but the thing is, if you do crack that clue on turn 4 and you continue cracking clues, opponent is not gonna care that this is unblockable, because they're gonna be not paying 2 mana to draw a card, then they're gonna be paying 2 mana to play a creature, to play a removal, or to play a trick, and continue developing the board. And then you attack them a couple times with unblockable creature, but you didn't play your own creatures or removal, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation, now I must block with this one, and I gotta survive. And that all the damage that you did doesn't matter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And this kind of translates to like a lot of these cards that you kind of play in the early game, because a lot of the time, like, the early drops just trade, and that's fine. Like, you gotta be fine with that. And then this is not just gonna completely take over in the late game, right? The bomb grades go to cards that are gonna warp the game around them, and It's not a 3-2 that might not be blocked, that is gonna loot on attacks, is not gonna completely warp a game around it. Like it's fine. It is
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. All right. That was very eye-opening. No, I think yeah, the floor told me something along the lines, but like in a very different situation where he was like, if you can develop the board instead of drawing cards, you should develop the board.
Yeah,
So this
that's
is kind of like that.
that is most of the time that is just correct. Like
Okay.
of course Magic is hard, so it's not like sometimes it's correct to draw a card, but basically always you want to be developing the board. And anytime we do coaching, we are gonna go for the average situation, and then if we find like a specific situation, maybe in gameplay or whatever, then we talk about it and so on. But it is important like to judge the cards on the like thinking about the average situations you're gonna get in, not the exact place where the card is gonna be amazing.
Okay.
Like,
Now, really quick before you go, because
yeah.
someone brought it up. You know, like the theory of the four quadrants and stuff like that.
The theory
Like
of what?
the four quadrants, like developing, behind, ahead, and stall.
The four quadrants? Well, I don't I don't
Oh,
know.
oh,
Hey,
okay.
develop. Tell me, develop. Maybe I don't know they're called like that. Developing.
So there's apparently like four major states in the game. It's like it happens when and you could be developing your board, you could be behind
Mhm.
on your board, or you could be ahead, or you could be between a stall. And then sometimes you want to evaluate a card based on like if this card fits in several of those situations very well.
How did I not know about this? I know these things usually. This is interesting.
Um, you probably already sort of like know, but it's never been like put
Yeah,
down.
I've never read the article.
Yeah, okay. Let Mercurio just this is credit to Mercurio. He sent me the links and I'm going to send them to you now.
Sorry, what
Uh
did you say? I was looking at
oh,
the page. Can you?
uh,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. Mercurio just linked me articles about the four quadrants and I'm sending them to you on Discord.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm
Okay.
looking at it here.
Oh, okay.
So like early game developing, that makes sense. Late game, what is late game behind mean?
If you're behind the late game or if you're behind in the early game, I guess.
So this like early developing, late.
Behind means losing, essentially, is what someone said.
I know what it means losing, but I don't understand how this works.
Hi,
So
Hugo.
it's like okay, what are these two? Like early. What is early? Why does it have two of these? Like early. Why is early? Like, it's early game and it's early game. What does that mean?
I don't know how this chart is like because I've never seen the chart. I've just like read the article before, so I don't know what this chart means.
For those who don't know, it's pretty simple to understand. In general, board state is what matters in the game's limited. Therefore, at any point, you're usually in one of these states. At any point, you are usually in one of these states on the board. You are just starting the game, develop. Okay. Lost board presence, losing. Winning board presence, winning. Even on board, stall. But why is this like late, earlier? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. So you want all right, yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's kind of what I've been talking about a lot usually, but I never knew about this. I mean, maybe I read it once. I don't think I did. I never knew about like this being the thing. Good thing that I didn't make like a podcast episode of like like presenting something like this, like I figured it out. It's like, oh man, you just copy pasted the things. Oh, that would be horrible. I don't know how I didn't get this. Well, perfect. More things to read for me. Uh, So, like what? The theory is that you want, if I understood from your words now, cards that work well in the more of these cases,
Hmm.
situations, they work well, the
Yeah.
better the card is. Is that
Yes.
a theory?
Yes.
Cards that are good usually hit multiple stages, and thus they are usually the strongest in limited. That doesn't make any sense.
So that
Because, I
means
mean,
the board. So that means a card can both be good during the developing stage of the game, and it also when you're behind in the game,
no,
this card will bring you up to speed. And if you're ahead of the
no,
game, you're not like winning more with it. It's still affecting it in such a way that's like useful. And if you're in a
no,
stall, then this card is also good when you're stalling.
I
When
didn't,
you are stalled.
I didn't manage to interrupt you. So I understand exactly what this sentence
Oh,
means, but I don't think it's correct.
oh, okay.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Hot take.
I mean, it's not a hot take. Like two drop, a two drop is not gonna be good late game ever. Like two drop is never gonna be good on the stall, and the two drop in most limited format is a good two drop is one of the most important things in the deck, and I mean it's gonna help you when you lose the board presence in kind of early game. It's not gonna do that in late game. So it's like it basically is good at doing one thing, but it is the pillar of and most limited decks. In this set, I don't think you're gonna need a lot of two drops. But in most limited decks, when was this made? This no way that this was new.
No, it's not
Kind of
you.
recent.
Well, if it's like a two drop that has like another effect that can help you break a stall, then usually when you have a stalled board, you're usually like mid to late game. So if it's a two drop with a good effect that can affect the rest of your board or something, then you know we're not talking about
Well,
vanilla tutus, right?
nothing is vanilla tutu anymore. But the thing is like two drops that are only good in early game are better than two drops that are good in early game and in late game with like breaking the stall effects. It's like for example the Mycony, the tutu that makes 7/7s.
Mm-hmm.
Like most two drops are better than that card, and they do nothing in the late. They do almost nothing in the late game, just because I think it's more like this is. Hmm.
Maybe take your time to read it, and maybe it will fill in that gap. I'm not sure.
I mean, if this is the main thing about it, this maybe I think is good for bombs. How to grade if something is a bomb? Because like there's so many cards that are not good in any of these except exactly one. Like not no. For example, like things that are good in developing stage might be you might want only those in the deck. Then things that are good when you're behind are garbage. Things that are only good when you're ahead are garbage. Things that are only good when you're stall are usually kind of garbage. So these all three are whatever. Like if this was made like long time ago, I'm gonna read it all. But if this is the main thing, it's kind of doesn't make sense. This might be very old, right?
Yeah, it's
This is extended.
2017.
But this is extended, right?
Yeah.
The theory is even older. Like for example, bread. Like a lot of the theories in for limited don't make much sense anymore. Like they need to be completely changed to make sense for like modern limited. And when I say modern, I mean in the last 7 years or more. That's modern limited. So this is I'm gonna read it all. Like it's interesting, but this is way simplifying it way too much. Because like if you have a game plan for a deck, like you most of the time the decks are way more focused today. So most of the time, this is not coaching by the way. This is just us talking. Like the decks most of the time, uh, you want to like enhance your gameplay and focus on your game plan as much as you can. And that throws everything here like in the garbage because like that's what you want to do now. This probably made a lot more sense like 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Hmm.
Same like bread. Like bread.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, same thing. Like bread doesn't make any sense anymore.
Okay. Well,
It's
I leave you with that.
evasion doesn't matter. Sorry, what?
I was like, oh yeah, well, I leave you with that. My question, therefore, is null, because I was like, are you rating these cards based on the four quadrants? And you're like, I don't know what that is. In fact, I don't believe in it. So I was like, okay, so you don't do that. So you don't grade cards based on this. Cool.
Exactly. I mean, the bee in bread is gonna stand probably until the end of time.
Okay.
Like if you see a bomb and you can put it in a deck, I'm pretty sure that's never gonna be wrong.
Yes.
And who did Ben Stark do the bread theory first? Who was the one
Who did it, guys? One of you nerds know.
who did it? I knew one time. At one time in my life. Like it's what? So removal are the second makes no sense. Evasion being the third most important thing in the limited makes no sense. And wait, what is D?
Duds.
Wait, what is D in bread?
Duds. Duds, like, not very useful cards.
Oh, dads are next. Okay. Yeah, like this. All right, dads are gonna be the last, sure. The B and D are always gonna be the. That's for sure.
Apparently it was like Marshall Sutcliffe that started saying bread, but bread was a concept before it was called bread.
And bread made sense. Like it's not like like okay, whoever made bread doesn't know what they're talking about. It's like bread made sense because there were
Like this.
infinite board stalls in a lot of sets before. So evasion. Somebody plays a 2/2 flyer. Oh my god, I have a 2/2 flyer. I'm gonna die in 7 turns because I'm on 14 life. God damn it. So I need removal. If I'm not killing their bomb that they drew because of the board stall, I'm killing their 2/2 flyer and I'm not gonna die. So it made sense before, and I'm not exaggerating. Like it really did make sense. But this is, I mean, it's gonna be fun to read how the times have changed, I guess.
Yeah, when you're bored. You can pull this up in between your breaks when you're climbing, you know?
Well, I love reading about magic, talking about magic. But this is always gonna be true as well. Like what? Starting the game, develop is always gonna be important. I mean, probably it makes some sense, right? I mean, it's more like you.
Opa said this is great poop reading, so next time you poop, you can read it, I guess.
It's great poop reading. Yeah, that makes sense. It's more like things that are good only when you're losing, or only when you're winning. Like this, kind of need to be together. Like this, you need both of these to be checked for most cards, and it changes. It really changes. Like if one card is really good at doing things when you're losing, I mean that's kind of weird. But like when you're winning, I mean I guess also when you're losing, if it's so good at doing something, then that's kind of that's usually a good card. Like even if it's bad in every other situation, if it's so good at doing that one thing,
Maybe you can
that
revamp this theory even. I don't know.
I mean that's something actually to talk about yeah, we didn't mention bread and this thing obviously in in our podcast. This could be a good episode for the podcast, like revamping the old theories about magic. We did talk about like drafting the hard way. How
Yeah.
we did talk about that, how it's not what should be done a lot of times, and it's kind of a combination of a lot of things. That's true. That is good. I love this theory. Okay. Thanks for that. I kind of forgot. That's really good.
You can thank chat.
Oh. This is not coaching. This is not
I
coaching
also
time.
forgot about this too, actually, until someone brought it up. Like, oh, that card, that 3/2 is only good in one quadrant, right? And I was like, oh yeah, that thing exists.
Which 3-2?
The one that if you sacrifice an artifact, it's unblockable. And someone,
yeah. It's
someone
really
in
good
chat
in-
said it's only good in one quadrant, and so that reminded me of it.
Yeah. But it's not so good at it. Like it's not incredible at it. It's just like that's where it works the best. That's kind of it. Oh, that's so good. Oh yeah. Oh, there's so much. Oh, and I didn't even read like most of it. And I gotta read the original one because this is like expanded one. The
Yes.
original one is probably a lot older.
Yes, it's 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Oh man, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting to talk about. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Has this been too much?
No. It's been very
Okay.
helpful. I kind of want to continue this, but like, I'm not sure by the time we get to do this again, the set will be out, and if doing this would still be helpful.
Look, the way we continue like this, the best way, but also the way that maybe you're not gonna like, which is completely fine, is that you update the tier list
Oh,
slowly as you play.
okay.
And of course, I'm gonna be updating the tier list as well, which means some of my grades are gonna change, and we can work on card evaluation that way as well, because you had problems with card evaluation for LCI after the set was out for quite a while. So yeah, if you're pretty good at card evaluation, then for a lot of students, it only makes sense to do it before the set is out, so they kind of get the tools for the future sets and so on to like for those first few weeks. But for you, please, no offense, it's gonna do a lot if you would like to do that. It's completely up to you if you wanna do it. You can just do like after a week you check like some grades and see if you want to change them or not. Like do it at your own pace. I don't know. No need to force it if that's not fun for you.
I don't know. I think it'd be good. I just the reason it was good to do it with you is because you presented reasons that I don't even know about, like, or can think about why this card is like, I can't think of the highest the ceiling can go and the lowest it can go. I have trouble with that.
Takes practice.
Yeah.
I try to generalize because I kind of prefer that we are not just going, and you also prefer that.
Yes.
I think if I got it right,
Yes.
so that you can like transfer the things we talked about to the next set. So it's not just like, oh, this card is good in this set because of that. Next and go. So we did spend more time on like individual types of cards, more like that.
Okay. I will work on that. I think it's a good exercise for me. Whether I like it or not is not like always. You obviously you should do things you like, but I think sometimes forcing myself to be out of my comfort zone so I could learn something new is always good.
Yeah, and I mean, if you try it a couple of times and you really don't like it, that's also completely fine. I always say like try these things and then try them a few times and then see if they work for you, right? And if in 2 weeks or you're gonna hate checking the grades,
Yeah.
then that just doesn't work for you.
Okay. All right. We'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you updated.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Luka.
No problem. If we have another coaching session, then I can share about the only men allowed massages.
The butt massages.
No, that's optional.
All right.
Okay.
Sleep well.
Have
Good
a good
night.
one. Good night.
Yay. Well, what do you guys think? Wasn't that super duper helpful? Feel like I learned a lot from that. I'm glad you guys like these coaching sessions. He's not Russian, he's like Croatian or something like that. Oh yeah, Fuba thought. Like the whole point of me doing this is not just like, oh, I'm trying to get better. I'm doing several things at the same time. I'm trying to get better. I'm creating content. I am promoting the coaches so that they can also get more coaching work done. And I can help my viewers get better since I'm like a casual Magic player at sort of like an intermediate-ish level, which I think is what most people that come watch me are. They can also get better with me. The entire point of my channel is like, watch me get better at Magic if you stick around long enough, essentially. So by doing these coaching sessions, I hit all of that, and I'm also like getting viewership, helping the community, both the coaches and the viewers. I'm getting better, you know? Don't some people, yeah, a lot, dude, there are some people that do that. Like, legit, doesn't happen to me, luckily enough, but I've seen people go into like other channels just so they can backseat when they don't even play the fucking format. Like, I literally saw this guy go into Pass the Pirates stream and start telling him how to play when the guy only played Constructed. I also miss the rats, Booba Muffing and Bob. I also miss them. You're here for dirt. You were here for rats though, let's be real. Oh, Domino. You know who does that too? J. John. But I still listen to J. John anyway, even though he's like, full disclosure, I don't play this set at all. I'm like, dude, but you have such good fundamental understanding of the game in general as a fucking whole that your advice is just generally fucking good. Well, Ham unfortunately missed out on that. I think he came to my stream specifically to watch JustLolaMan, and then he left before he got here, which is pretty sad. The VOD will be available.